important for everybody to realize that trauma is all around us. And it's unfortunate, but it's a fact. And it isn't just to one person or one gender or one social class or one race. Trauma is all around us, and it's actually devastating to think about. And some things we are so, what's the word I'm looking for? Desensitized to certain situations that we don't even recognize them as being traumatic. So when God first put on my heart to start a podcast about, trauma and healing trauma, more importantly, I kind of didn't want to do it because you almost feel a sense of embarrassment, for lack of a better word, for certain situations, certain traumatic situations that have happened in your life, and you not only don't want to relive these things, but you don't want to share them with the world. And I heard God tell me very clearly that a lot of these situations I needed to share with the world, because there's someone out there who needs to hear and know that they're not alone, and more importantly, know that they can overcome, that they can rise like a phoenix from the ashes. And so I battled with myself on if I was really going to do it, and who's going to hear it, and who's going to care, and who's going to get something from it. And I had to get out of my head. I had to get out of my head so that I was able to come and share my experiences with the world. When I think back to a lot of things that have taken place, I would have never thought in those moments, experiencing those things, that I would be here now, telling my story, sharing my story with other amazing women who I hope will find inspiration. If there's even one woman out there who listens to my podcast and is able to take that journey into self-love and healing, is able to finally accept, what happened to you in the past does not define you. Anything that you're able to take away, if there's just one person that's able to take something away, I'll feel like I did my job. I'll feel like I served my purpose. I did what God asked me to do. He wanted me to reach this person, and now here we are. So that would bring me joy. I would feel honored. And one thing that I think is important for us to think about, just moving forward in life in general, whether you decide to start healing or not, is that say it like this, we must recognize that everybody has experienced trauma, and it shapes the way you see the world, number one. It shapes the way you show up in the world yourself, number two. And so a lot of people's behavior is influenced by the trauma they experienced and the fact that they have not taken the steps to address this trauma. And once I realized that, okay, please hear me. Once I realized that, I was able to give more grace. And that's to everybody around me. Family, friends, even total freaking strangers, okay? Once you accept the fact that you don't know what somebody's been through or what they're going through, and I've heard so many stories, and you would never know, you would never guess. And this is why I give so much grace. Because guess what? I've been through things. I've acted out. I've said hurtful things to other people. I've hurt people when I was hurting. No, I wasn't an all-around terrible person. Let's be clear on that. But I'm not perfect, okay? And I would want, or I wanted someone to give me grace in those moments, Sometimes I didn't understand why I acted out or why I said things or why I felt things, I had to learn my triggers. And when you learn your triggers, you learn where those triggers come from. And then you're able to, hopefully move forward. And the reason I say hopefully is you have to make that decision to move forward from it. And before even doing that, know that the process is going to be ugly. There is nothing cute. Don't let nobody lie to you. There is nothing, zero things that are attractive about the healing process. Okay? It hurts to heal the trauma more than you actually experienced it because you have to relive it. And then you have to relive all the emotions. Was it my fault? Is it something I did? Is it something I could have done differently? Why did this happen? Why did this person do this? And it's not your fault. And there's potentially nothing you could have done different in that traumatic moment that could have changed the outcome. And I know this is going to sound cliche and probably bad. Sometimes we need those experiences to shape our character. I mean, if I didn't experience all the things I experienced in life, I couldn't even be sitting here right now telling you how to overcome it or giving you a better understanding of trauma as a whole had I never experienced it. I wouldn't be able to offer grace and compassion and sympathy and oftentimes empathy in certain situations or to certain people had I not experienced things for myself. So as hurtful as these things were, as angry as these things made me, I'm taking something away. And it made me a better person. And whoever is out there listening to this right now, you are better. Things will get better. And the sooner you accept what happened for what it is, you just have to accept what happened for what it is and take necessary steps to move forward. So if you don't know what those steps are, don't worry. I will be sharing steps throughout this journey because we're all on a journey together, our self-love healing journey, but also therapy. Find someone you're able to talk to, even if it's not a therapist. Find one companion, one person in your life that you trust enough to welcome them into your healing journey. Nobody's saying you have to spill your guts and tell all your dirty little secrets to the world, but you do have to release it. And one of the best ways for me to release outside of crying, because crying is an excellent release as well, don't get me wrong, I like to talk about it. And the people in my life, mainly my sisters, will tell you, baby, I can talk and talk and talk. And I will continue to talk about the situation and continue to bring it up until I feel like I'm past it. If I'm not over the situation, I'm going to keep talking about it. Because we need to work through this, okay? And by we, I'm just talking about me. But, I need to work through this and figure out why it's still bothering me. You know what I mean? Like, if something's still bothering you, then it's not done. You're not over it. And can you truly move past something that you're not over? No, you can't. No matter how much you pretend, because I've been there. Pretender of the year, okay? I will act like something don't even faze me, knowing wholeheartedly that it does. And I'm past that. No, I don't care if I told you I was past it and a week later I mustered up some more feelings for it, then maybe we need to talk again. And if you don't want to have this conversation, then that's an even bigger problem. So, don't be afraid to express yourself. I journal a lot. Okay, that's another way. I guess we getting into the tips already. Yeah, I journal a lot. If I can't, physically speak to somebody to talk out my problems, I'll write them down. I pray to God about it. Sometimes I don't think I'm crazy, but sometimes I even talk to myself or like think out loud. Like I will just, whatever I'm thinking, I'm just literally saying it out loud and spilling my guts to the universe and letting the universe know exactly where they had me fucked up. Okay. So seriously, holding anything in is detrimental to your health. That's the truth. Your physical health and your mental health. And mental health is probably the most important thing, like, ever. Your mental health determines your whole reality. You know how they say thoughts turn into words manifest into reality. If your mental is not right, you're not going to be manifesting the right things into your reality. And before somebody even roll their eyes, manifestation is just real life. Anything coming into physical form. You know what I'm saying? We manifest everything every day. But I'll get on manifestation later. The point is your thoughts create your reality. And so if you don't have good thoughts, if you don't have positive thoughts, if your mental health is strained, it's going to reflect in your reality. So I'll give an example. Whenever my mind is like super cloudy and I'm feeling like disoriented and like my life is just falling off the fucking train tracks, 9 times out of 10, my house is dirty. My apartment is in shambles. And maybe not the whole apartment, maybe just my closet in my bathroom looks like hell. A tornado ran through, or maybe my room, everything is out of place and I haven't cleaned it in however long because my mind isn't right. So my environment isn't right. When my environment is completely clean and free of clutter, so is my mind. And that's another thing that, I realized that allowed me to give more people grace. Like sometimes you go into people's homes or maybe into a specific room in a home, like someone's bedroom, for example, and the bedroom looks like a disgusting trash chute. Let's just be clear because I've seen it more than once. And now when I see things like that, so let me say this. In the past, I would see it and just automatically chalk it up to this person is just disgusting, like very poorly raised. Why would you have, like, this shit is filthy. Why would you even invite me over, right? Yeah, that's right. But now when I'm walking into the situations, I'm concerned with how you're feeling mentally. Are you doing okay? Is it something you need to discuss? How is everything? Do you feel safe? I don't want to have to pick up my phone and get a call that, you did something terrible to yourself. And the last interaction we had, I'm just thinking about how disgusting your house was, and some people are just disgusting. Okay, let's be clear. But on a grander scale, the physical reflects the mental and spiritual. And in your waking life, if you feel like everything around you is in shambles, how's your mental health? Seriously. How are you feeling mentally? Do you need help? Just don't be afraid to ask. And I used to feel like asking for help made you seem weak. Okay? Seriously. It doesn't. You're actually a stronger person because you're less concerned with what somebody thinks about you and more concerned with getting better, with doing better, with having better for yourself, your environment, and everyone around you. So again, how's your mental? Mentally, how are you feeling? How are you doing? And I strongly encourage you to take my prior advice find a therapist, grab a journal, or grab the hand of a close friend and tell them everything that's wrong. More importantly, take it to God. Give it to Him. If I can quote Miss Celie from The Color Purple, this life be over soon. Heaven lasts always. And if it's one thing I know for sure, is that you can always find refuge in God. So I just want to take a few steps back so that we fully understand my purpose and my intention here. The definition of trauma is going through stressful, frightening, or disturbing events. Your emotional response to a terrible event or natural disaster. So, in short, it's the residue of how you were affected by your experiences, right? Now that we got a better understanding of trauma, let's get a better understanding of healing, which is the process of making or becoming sound or healthy again to relieve suffering. You're probably like, okay, Kyanna, why are you reading this definition? We can all Google. But I think it's important for us to know what trauma is first and then what healing is, so we fully understand how they go hand in hand. And it might seem like common sense, but just stay with me. Just stay with me. Please don't go. Stay with me here, okay? As I stated before, trauma affects not only how you show up in the world, but how you see the world, right? And so unhealed trauma creates anxiety, depression, lack of self-worth, amongst many other things. Unhealed trauma will have you making decisions you wouldn't normally make. Unhealed trauma can leave you feeling lonely, confused, or worse, angry, mad at the world. I've been there. I don't want that for you. And I know that you really don't want that for yourself. Who will want that for themselves? It's also important to know that trauma doesn't have to be some drastic horror story. You know what I mean? I think that when anyone says the term trauma, we think of the most horrific, horrendous event that our mind can kind of put together, and it doesn't have to be that all the time. And don't invalidate your own personal trauma because you feel like, okay, well, people go through worse things. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. But this isn't about everybody else. This is about you. What you've been through and the importance of you overcoming those things. And I must stress enough, because I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't stress that the healing process for trauma is ugly. UGLY. It ain't got no alibi. Ugly. Okay? So don't be detoured from your healing process when you run into that ugly bump in the road. Trust me, believe me, because I've been through this already and I'm still going through it. You will feel so much better once you get over that threshold, once you get over that pain. And I can't tell you how long it's going to take. I unfortunately don't have all the answers. And no one could have told me how long healing certain traumatic things in my life was going to take. So on this podcast, if you so choose to continue this journey with me, because it's definitely a journey, on the House of Trauma Podcast, we're going to dive deep into emotional, physical, and generational trauma. I'll give you a deep look into my past trauma and the different things I did to heal, grow, and learn from it. My self-love journey, my walk with God, and just how I became the woman I am today. This is the House of Trauma Podcast, where we talk all things trauma, healing, and self-love. My name is Kyanna Brianne, and I hope you enjoy this journey because it's about to be a wild ride.